this is a film that kicks off, and the first thing you see in this film is you see three people in a bar. And the three people you see in the bar, two of them are of East Asian descent. So a man and a woman of East Asian descent. And you have a Caucasian man sitting beside them. And you just hear this voiceover of, it's like, there's somebody looking at the three of them, and one of them is going, and they're going, oh, who are these people? What do you think the story is? And one of the people's, you just hear these voices going, oh, I reckon that, they are a couple on holiday, and he's the interpreter or something like that. And they're just trying to figure out what's going on. And then all of a sudden, the film rewinds back 24 years, and it takes you back to Seoul. It would have been in the 80s, so Seoul in Korea in the 80s. And you get to meet this girl, who is called Na-young. And you meet her and her friend Hae-sung, and they are inseparable at the school. They're the two, always number one and number two in the class and all that. And they're walking home from school, and Hae-sung is like, "What's wrong with you? Is it just because I beat you in class? You beat me all the time because academically, it's you beat me all the time. You never see me cry. Why are you crying because I beat you?" And he thinks that she's crying because he got a better mark than she did. But as it transpires, it turns out that her family is actually emigrating and leaving Korea to go to Canada, and that's what she's worried about. And there's this whole thing where her mom asks, is there anybody in school that you like? And she's like, yeah, Hae-sung, I think we're actually going to get married. And so her mom organizes a date pretty much with him, so that she has a good memory to leave Korea with. So she leaves Korea, and then the film jumps forward 12 years. She will jump forward 12 years. By now, Na-young, who has chosen the American name Nora because that happened to a lot of immigrant families, changing your names and coming up with a westernized name. She's now living in New York. She's now working as a playwright or anything. And you find out that she gets in, then you follow the two stories, him still back in Korea, her now in New York. And then they get connected back over Facebook, and they start having all these Skype conversations with each other and all that. And then the film jumps forward another 12 years, and just for another 12 years to the bit where you see the three of them in the bar. And it turns out that what actually happens is that the Caucasian guy you saw in the bar with them is actually her husband. It's her husband, and the film is this. There's going to be a lot of arty-farty words when I'm talking about this. It's like a meditation. It's like a meditation on loss and this and of displacement, and when you leave one place and go to another place. And as somebody who left Nigeria at quite a young age to move to the UK, there were a lot of bits of this film that I was just really, really identifying with hard. Like, who you leave, when you leave them, have your lives become so different that you can't actually come them back together? Who are you? Do you have identity? Are you, in her case, are you Korean? Are you now American? Is there something in there? Is there a bit of you that the Korean friends can't reach? Is there a bit of you that American friends can't reach? And I thought this film was brilliantly done. I mean, I actually think I made a note after this film. I think I made a note that said something like, I was just kind of like, oh my God, that is a beautiful film. It's like an achingly beautiful film. And it just, the performances, I mean, Greta Lee plays Nora. You have, I can't remember anybody else's name in the film. But she plays Nora. I think the performances are spot on. I think the scenes between them when they're meeting up again after being apart from so long, they haven't seen each other for 24 years, and they meet up in New York, and there's this whole bit where they go on a boat on the Circle Line, which I'm sure you've been on that boat before, the Circle Line boat, because I've been on it around the island of Manhattan, and I was kind of watching, going, "Oh my God, I know that boat!"
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the scenes where they're going around and it's just almost everything that they say, the way they talk to each other, the kind of things where they're trying to figure out what's going on. And there's this scene right at the end that's just them stood at the side of a road waiting for a taxi.
And Toes, I'll have to come in here. That was because you were thinking. To me, that made the film, because that is, and I'm saying this is nothing but that is basically what Asian ladies are like. They're pragmatic. They're like, yes, and this was class.
I thought this was a brilliant film. I thought it was a beautiful film. And I agree with everybody who was making noises about all the stuff that it should get. So
yes, brilliant.
Yeah, then it's about all the things that it should have gotten and all the attention that it should have gotten at the Oscars, of which it got none. This film is beautiful. It's one of the best films I've seen in the last year. and I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think I'd have to give this film a 5.
Yeah. I mean, as I say,
have
I'd give it a super high 4, but I mean, at the time, I probably would have given it 5 because I remember loving it. I remember it was just so well made, and it's just super. To me, it's super realistic. I just exactly. I couldn't find anything dumb in it.
I agree with you. It's quite realistic, and there's a lot of bits where it sets up because when you think about it, right, it sounds like the setup for a romantic comedy.
Yeah, and you think, don't you? You think, hello, what's gonna end?
It sounds like the setup to. Sorry, for those of you who listen for the first time, that Oscar music is telling us we've been talking about this film too long and we need to move on. But so I feel like it feels like a setup for a romantic comedy. It's like woman has childhood friend, gets married. Ooh, who's she gonna choose? Childhood friend or husband? But it is so much better than that. It is. Yeah, so I would say get on Netflix, watch Past Lives, and
Terrific.
thank yourself. It is a brilliant, brilliant film.